Hello. Hey, gang.
Hey, how's it going? Good to see
What's
everybody.
new? Hey, Marietta's back in the role. How many years is this now? I don't know why you're muted. You're not muted, but you're muted. I think she said 8. Um, we worked in the past, so I'm excited to work with her again. So we're gonna have some fun. It's fun.
Yes, I've had the privilege of working with you too. That's great. Good to see some of the Kier and Keith who've all been on our programs as well. That's awesome.
Good to see you guys. Well, today we're going to dive right into it. And we're talking offers. And today we're going to really move quickly in connecting the dots from that needs analysis to the offer to them moving and how they can stall in different parts of this. Yet today we're going to try to connect the dots to help you guys do that most effectively. Just a real quick heads up. We are going to continue for my recruiting collective members to keep offering these master classes. Our next one is recruiting with one pagers specifically, April 22nd. And then we have what was kind of like Rockstar Recruiting, but kind of rewritten as Recruiting Mastery. Rich, do you want to kind of cover what that all entails?
Yep. So we're rolling out the new improved version of Rockstar Recruiting, and it's 8 sessions, 8 1-hour sessions that are going to be weekly. So it's a 2-month program, and you can see the topics there that we're going to be covering from the recruiting systems, the sources, the best strategies, appointment setting, the needs analysis, the recruiting presentation, closing, objection handling, lead follow-up, transitions, leveraging those hires, building your recruiting team, recruiting, with the MRA models and the playbooks. So that's going to be an action-packed course that we're rolling out next month, and we're going to probably do 2 of those a year. So look for that. If you want to participate, the Recruiting Collective members, you get a 20% discount for being members for any of our classes. So there you go.
And it's really a great time to dust off the rust because we've been kind of cruising around for a while as recruiters. So I would challenge everyone. It's a great class, kind of like bold to get back into to say, hey, I got to level up my needs analysis, or I've got to get better at, getting to my prescription, whatever that is. So today it's all about the offer, and we're going to cover the anatomy of the offer, the prescriptions, and really how to effectively present that offer. So what aren't offers? And Rich, what's the difference between an offer and a mofer? And you hear people say, "Oh, I got offers going to everybody." You know, let's dive into that a little because that's not the same as what we're talking about today, is it?
Yeah. So, mopers are, things that are like marketing sayings and messages that create engagement and a response. It's drawing people out, right? It's clickbait. And really an offer is really you're making just like it sounds, an offer to somebody. Hey, if you come here, this is what you get. So it's a lot more direct, and it's definitely not the same as a clickbait getting somebody to engage with you. You would use mofers to get an appointment, and then the appointment needs analysis, presentation, close, then you would make an offer. So they're totally different.
Yeah, so the point is this, a needs analysis has to have happened for us to be able to be effective in the offer. So obviously, when we think needs analysis, Rich, we think of your 26 questions or the 4 quadrants, of bringing someone through that process and what needs to happen or be accomplished.
Exactly. So we have to establish that gap. We've got to make sure that we know what their why is. There has to be that need and that self-discovery that they don't have the means to bridge their gap or to overcome the dilemma that they have. So there's a challenge, there's a goal, there's a gap, and that you have to make sure, like we do in the needs analysis, that they walk away from that experience with understanding they have a dilemma, meaning they don't have the means to bridge their gap. That's the whole purpose of the needs analysis. We use the 4 quadrants to get the light bulb to go on by taking them from their present, whether it's positive or negative, to their future and what that's going to look like if they continue with the present that they're currently in, whether that's good or bad. And I think most agents, we can just look at it, the numbers are in a negative present because of the market, right? So our job is to get them to see, as much as they love their broker and all that stuff, that's all fine. We're not talking about that. But if they continue to do what they're doing, they're going to have a negative future the rest of this year because we're pretty much already through the middle of the second quarter. I mean, you guys get that, right? Because real
Right.
estate's a 90-day cycle. I mean, we're in May production. So, in a few more weeks, I mean, we're going to be looking at the third quarter. So, and agents got to understand that if you're not tracking for what you want in the first 3 months of the year and whatever you have pended, you're almost at the mid-year point in terms of what you can get closed at this point if you don't have any business, or if you want to just factor in what's pending and what you've already closed and do the math when you carry that out, that's what your year is going to look like if something doesn't change. And our job is to get them to understand that, including our own agents. But that's the art of the needs analysis, the 4 quadrants, is that self-discovery.
So if you do a needs analysis well, you're able to uncover those 2 or 3 things that are major gaps, not just one thing, but a few things. And that's what needs to be the brunt of the offer, the meat of the offer, not we can do this for this many months in this office and this many business cards and this many signs, which most offers look at. Like Rich and I see offers all the time, and many lead with the deal. Well, frankly, if they're looking at you, they're probably looking at other people as well. And we're not the cheapest. We may not be the best deal. So when we write these offers, remember you're going to go back to the needs analysis and you're going to solve the problem that came up. And it's usually around time, money, opportunity, those types of things, right, Rich? Really, those are the
Yeah.
main factors.
Yep.
So,
So to your point, and it's really important, most people send offers about the stuff. Here's the
yeah,
split, here's the car, here's the stuff I'm going to give you, instead of dealing with the emotion of it, instead of the logic of the offer, the emotion of the offer. If you can tie emotion into the offer, which is about, this is how you're going to reach your goal. This is how you're going to overcome your challenge because of what Jessica is going to go into next in the prescriptions. That becomes a powerful offer other than just a linear logical thing that I might be comparing 2 other companies to, right? I'm looking at 3
right,
offers on the table, like as a seller, right?
right,
Which one am I going to pick instead of which one is going to get me to where I want to be?
right. Who's gonna change my situation versus relationship? Because you're gonna lose on relationship if they've already got an established one. So this is really the difference maker in a great offer. So, really dive into this. So here's the thing. And Mariette, I'll bounce right back to you. Your offer needs to give a very specific KW prescription versus the word training or coaching or fill in the blank. We need to use very specific KW terminology and tools to identify how we're different. So that if I'm looking at Keith's offer and Rich's offer, and they're different brokerages, and they're talking about dollars and cents and signing bonuses and leads and all that, I realize that your offer is going to solve my situation. Where do I need to go E to P as a person, an agent in my personal life and my business? You're going to help me do that, not just this split for this many days. So even if your offer maybe doesn't have the sign-on bonus or this promise of some Zillow leads or fill in the blank, right? I'm probably still going to go with your deal because you're solving the problem. So just remember, we want to be very specific and not just use training and coaching, but very specific KW prescriptions. And when you think of a prescription, it's not bad to go through this bulleted list and say, okay, what do I all need to put in this offer to be like a really solid full offer? And we could go on from this bullet list. It could be like, who in the company do I need to introduce them to, right? Who would be a good friend or role model that they would really connect well with?
Yeah, so let's look at this real quick. So let's just say that you've discovered with the needs analysis and the 10-step presentation that I needed advanced agent education. I could benefit from Bold. I could benefit from going to mega camp. I am interested in building a team, and career visioning would be something that you identified would be good for me. Um, Coaching, potentially, or some of the great MAPS fast track programs that they have could help me if I'm looking for more listings and plug into something like that, right? So what she's saying is those are the meat and potatoes that you can put into an offer that after you've taken me through this needs analysis and self-discovery in the presentation, I realize that I need those things. I've quantified those things that are going to help me in my business. So when it comes time for the offer, wow, you're going to send me to Bold. Wow, you've got career visioning. Whoa, I get a ticket to Mega Camp. Or you're plugging me into the perfect real estate assistant because I'm struggling because I have an assistant and it hasn't been working out. Some and fast track program, something like that. Does that make sense, guys? Yeah.
Cool. Marietta, what's your question?
So it's actually this is perfect because the team leader that was in my position right before I just met with a $16.9 million R2.
Nice.
Thank you. She was given an offer. She took that offer to her broker and he basically just matched everything. So the team leader before said, listen, you need to have a CRM because she has everything in notes. Well, they gave her a CRM. I'm going to offer you, this split. Well, they offered her the same split. Actually, they capped her. They don't even have a cap. So now they don't charge her. They just charge her per transaction. So now I need to go back. So this is perfect for me because now I need to go back and I need to tie it to specific. So it's not just a CRM. No, it's a CRM that can run neighborhood nurtures that can, touch your databases and keep you on track. So I love this. This is
Yeah.
exactly what I needed right now.
It's a
Well,
very
and I'm
good point.
Because they will do that. They'll take it back to the other broker and they'll try and match it, but they can't match KW.
I'm going to go offline a little from our PowerPoint for one thing, and I'm going to put something in the chat just to show, and I'm just going to jump into this because this goes right into what you're talking about, Marietta. This is one of the best recruiting marketing pieces I've seen KW come out with recently. And I love using it, and I've had a bunch of great conversations with some R2s and indies with it, showing the opportunities with us. And when you're going back with this kind of gal that got an offer, now you're kind of backpedaling, you know what I mean? Whereas this is where you can go deeper with them about the specific classes and the specific things that you might dive into if they wanted to get better in their sales or put the business in their business or develop wealth beyond their sales, whatever that might be. So this is a great visual, and I just wanted to share this because it's just a perfect time to share that with you, Marietta. And yet, when you're writing an offer, think of looking at this as well as what all do we have that we would want to include and make them aware in this offer, because we have so much, but at the same time, you don't want to overwhelm. So I just wanted to introduce you to that. If you haven't seen that, that's a great piece that the marketing department came out with. So something to think about.
Yeah,
Back to
and yeah,
go
to
ahead.
your point, I mean, they can't match that, right? I mean, what you're saying. So what is that? What is bold? Are those things that were on that sheet? So they're dead in the water. And if you again did the 10-step presentation like we've taught and talk about, where you've shown them, what these classes are about. You've shown them the MR, you've showed them these things, and they see value in those, and they've quantified that those are the missing links for them to get to their goals. Now, when you do the offer and they take that offer back to, or they're comparing it with another offer from another company and take it back to the broker, whatever, it's like a different language. They don't even know
Right.
what they're talking about.
You're at like level 300 in college, MBA level, and they're at level 1. And frankly, they don't have the resources and tools that you have. So here's a sample. This is something that Rich and I put together for our recruiting collective. For our recruiting collective members, you have this in your file. We'll put it at the top. And we also have a prescription cheat sheet of like what pages would you bring up in MREA, what articles would you maybe share, what people would you maybe introduce, what models would you maybe talk about, so that you can connect the dots if you're getting to know KW. But the point is this: let's just say Rich and I are talking, I'm the recruit, I need more leads. That's an obvious in my business. That's something when we're talking to each other, I just don't have enough business. and I don't have confidence in my listing skills or competing with other agents in my office even. And so that might be something that was brought up. And maybe I'm wasting a lot of time doing Instagram and transaction management and blah, blah, blah. So let's just say we had a great chat and that came up. This would be kind of like the flow of a great offer. And it starts with the word proposal because this is the beginning of a conversation. This isn't a final offer. And if you use the word proposal versus offer, something to think about when they're comparing other things, they're realizing that this is at the beginning of the conversation. This isn't the final offer. So language and the words you use really does matter. Because again, if you're shopping with me, you're shopping with other brokerages probably, and you're probably going to be comparing, based off each other. So again, lead with solving the problems that of the gaps that were identified in the needs analysis, right, Rich? So if like you and I were chatting and I needed more leads, what specific training class would you recommend? Like not just training, no, like what about Ignite number 3? Really nail the database. Or what if you did coaching with the database assessment and you actually had, the materials with you so you could kind of show some of these things off? The one pager or two that you might introduce them to, the model that you wish they would have learned about when they first got started in the biz. Really go through this because here's the truth, right back to what Rich just said. They can't compete with you. No one else can if you go to this level. But if we just say training is training or leads is leads or CRM is CRM, right? That's easy. That's writing a check. But this
Yeah.
is going deep into it. And I'd even go as far to say is if you've got other people involved, putting their names in and what their role is, even maybe their phone number, showing how this is going to be what you guys tackle together in their first 30, 60, 90 days, whatever speed they're willing to go, saying, hey, we're not going to let you off the hook. We're going to make you have a E2P moment in your business. We're helping you here. We're going to make sure this happens. We're not just going to move you for the sake of moving. We're here to help you change your life. When you can present an offer like that and show specifically what KW is going to be different, the rest of them don't even matter. And even if they're not ready to move today, you've got them on the hook so hard that it's really hard to lose them. It's just a matter of time and just committed follow-up.
Yeah. And one of the things that was on one of those sheets, not to forget, is the communities. Okay.
Yeah.
Because again, that's something that nobody can compete with. And we've got, communities from luxury to commercial to sports and entertainment to YP to all that stuff, right? And a lot of times you forget about that. I have a guy that's joining one of my offices here, you know where I'm at here in Downey, Southeast Los Angeles, and he's coming from a ways away south, but he wants to be involved in the sports and entertainment, and he knows that LA is the spot for that. So this guy's literally moving his license, to our office, and he doesn't live close because he wants that community.
Yep. So cool. We have so much, you guys. There really is no competition if you use Keller Williams to its fullest. It's that we get caught up in kind of doing it. And yet these offers are really specific because, it's easy to say yes to. So just a few things. When you're presenting an offer, don't be sending these. Don't send these. Don't send these. Don't let them go shop around with it. Don't have them showing everyone. You may even have them sign a NDA, to go through this. Make it really special. I have a couple people that have a couple clients that are doing that, and it's really awesome the kind of turn of events that's made with the seriousness of the conversation. And yet this should be in person. This is something you're going through and talking through, and you're asking, is there something else, anything else you'd add to this? Did I miss anything? How would that impact your business? You're testing this back to your needs analysis. This isn't just like, this is the offer, right? You're going to go through it. You're going to present it and really show what you're prescribing. So if there's a model, don't just talk about it, turn to the page or show the specific one pager, or talk about the person, or set up the date when you're going to take this class. Plug them in with this. Don't just kind of talk about it. Really make it an experience that they can anticipate, that it's almost like what their first 90, 30, 60, 90 days might be like. So this is really you going from offer to onboarding. And while you're doing that, you're going to alleviate stress, right? You're going to say, you know, so that your business doesn't slow down, we're going to do this. So that you're not stressed by X, we're going to do this. So you're not stressed by Y, we're going to do this. So you're taking this offer and making it more of like, this is what now you can experience, and this is what we're going to promise to do for you. And that
Yeah,
actually will get someone to move faster because you're actually in the offer addressing what you know their rubs are. It's going to be, I'm afraid my business is going to slow down. I'm afraid this, I'm afraid that. So again, the offer will end with how that is going to be avoided. So again, presenting it in that way and in a personal face
very,
way is
very
important.
well said. Very well said. And so really the offer is almost a summary of the needs analysis, the presentation, and then that last point there, number 5, the 30, 60, 90 of, hey, here's what your life's going to look like with us over the next few months. Here's how we're going to get this stuff implemented that's the difference maker from you going from here to there in what we discussed in your business. So that's a critical piece because that will help close them when the buyer's remorse sets in, but they see that there's a plan that they can visualize and they see of how their life's going to be different over the next 90 days. That's the thing that will cause them to move from fear into moving over to you,
Yeah.
because they feel comfortable with that. And a lot of people forget that part. It's just like, let's just get you signed up, right? And they're afraid and they stall out, and we've all been there, right? The 30, 60, 90, a plan of what their life's going to look like is so important in closing.
Well, and if you take our recruiting mastery, there's other little steps like getting them ready to break up with their broker and all the coaching you need to do. So there's a lot of little extra steps that we teach you in the long class, but this is the quick version. And yet remember, people don't believe what they're told. They believe what they believe because they can see it. So make sure you're not just selling and telling, you're showing. So a great way to build your confidence is to really go through the main gaps and pain points and ask yourselves, how would I show that? What pages do I need to really have nailed down in MREA? Where are my props? You know, what do I have with me all the time when I'm at a coffee shop so that I can bust into a needs analysis or a database assessment and or just show some information. Have your props. People believe what they see, not what you tell them. People are skeptical. So again, after an appointment, it's not bad to follow up with an email with some of the links that you shared or websites you went to so they can go back and do their own kind of own reconnaissance. And yet the website thrive.kw.com and several other tools that you have are just so cool to be using while you're having these conversations so that again, when I go home and I go to explain to my husband why I want to go to this company that looks like costs more than this other one that he has a friend at, um, he's going to understand like, oh, that's really amazing. Like that's way more advanced than what they have or what have you. So just know that those little things all add up and those are things we're going to go through in that 8-session class. Um,
So Jessica, so let's spend a minute on that real quick. So what are some of those things? So you said Thrive, KW.com. We have the communities. We have the MAPS coaching site. You have the Fast Track site with all those great classes that are 100 and 200 bucks. We've got the communities site. What else? What are some other things?
Basically with that one Excel spreadsheet that we put together, we have every model linked. So say you wanted to bust into the economic model with me. You can double click on that link and just be talking in real time and showing them the model without having to know the model because it self-populates. So it gives you a lot of confidence. But let's be honest, when you're doing that with someone, you're having like an MBA level conversation with them about their business, and they've likely never even had that level of business conversation with anybody. You know, not even maybe their financial planner or CPA or their significant other. I mean, so the cool part about this experience, you guys, is when you're delivering and showing the prescriptions and kind of getting into it a little bit, um, you know, first of all, it's total validity for you, but it's so hard for them to say no to coming to you because they're realizing they're saying no to themselves and their own personal growth and development. It's not the loyalty factor anymore. The loyalty is dissipated. It's all of a sudden they're going to choose themselves over their mentor that started them in the business, you know, and that's where a lot of you guys get caught up in relationship, trying to build relationship. I'm like, stop doing that. Be valuable, because it's going to take you years to outfriend their friends. And yet you can be instantly valuable today.
Yeah. We got some great stuff, like when you go to the family reunion page, the mega camp page, the bold page. It's live videos of showing that the experience at those events. I mean, we take it for granted because we see this stuff all the time, but that's powerful.
Right. So just remember, what stops agents from moving is really a lot of different things, that the offer doesn't solve all their gaps. So don't just learn a little bit about someone and get into selling and telling mode. You really want to do a full needs analysis to get 2, 3, whatever, all the gaps if you can. And you know, if you are jumping to conclusions, you don't know really what's going on, and you can really mess up your offer by assuming that they need help with an assistant or something, and really maybe they are horrible with working with other people. So don't guess their needs analysis. The needs analysis has to happen naturally for the process to do the magic, and for them to self-realize that what they need to do. And so make sure that that all lines up. And then, you know, Rich, life shows up quite a bit, doesn't it, with people just slowing their roll on their move. You see
Yeah, I
that.
mean, the biggest obstacle that we have to deal with is overwhelm. Okay, is fear of change, and really overwhelmed. So the stall comes from the overwhelm. That kind of 30-60-90 helps them with that overwhelm. The offer, that's really the solution to where they want to go, to break through that ceiling of achievement that you've discovered. All of that stuff makes them feel comfortable in moving their life forward, to overcome the fear and the overwhelm of moving. One of the things that we talk about in our 8-week program is the transition. So that's not only coaching them out of their brokerage, but what's that look like? How do we let the pressure out of the balloon, right? Of the overwhelm. That wow, what do I do next? What do I do besides talking to my broker, which I'm freaking out about, right? What about
Right.
my business? What about this? How, so that's what's important, is to relieve that pressure of the overwhelm.
And that process that we help you just get really good at, is it works so well. And when you skip steps, it bites you in the butt. I'm just gonna tell you that. So if anything, I'm gonna double dog dare you all to take the class, to get the rust off, get really into full recruiting mode, because this is high level recruiting time. This is where you guys can double your office in the next year and a half. It's a lot of fun when you get into momentum with all this recruiting. And again, if your offer is not going to solve their gap, and they don't believe they're actually going to change their behavior a little, they're just not going to move. So remember, it's a mixture of all those things, of the presentation, making sure you have all those things. And so I challenge you, go back to the last couple great conversations you've had, and maybe rewrite a prescription, and circle back to those people and say, hey, I've got a really cool, I put some time working on your business, and I've got a prescription I'd love to share with you to really solve what, your dilemmas of this year, and really get you on the right track. How cool would that be to kind of restart those conversations, and circle back and start again? So challenging you all to do that.
Yeah.
Jessica,
Remember,
sorry.
Go ahead.
It would be amazing to do that, Jessica. I've written a number of offer letters. They don't always work.
Yeah.
And, having said that, a few nuggets that have come off in our conversation today, like how to present that darn offer and even tweak it. And I know I'm a member of the recruiting collective. I'm not sure if everybody on the call is, but just wondering if I can do some R&D. Is there, you took a sample from, I guess, maybe a presentation done earlier. Is there anything you could email to me that I could do some R&D on and kind of tweak? Because I do have a handful of follow-ups that I want to do from some that I presented, I'll say, over the past 6 to 8 months. And the timing is right to do it now, and I'd love to tweak it.
Yep, send me an email and I'll respond right back before I get on my next call.
Beauty. Thank you, Jessica. Okay.
Yep.
yeah,
So-
even the one that you shared today, it would be a good one that shows.
Yeah. Or anything you want to redact the name or whatever. Perfect. Thank you.
No worries. So just remember, we have our upcoming class. Love to see you guys there. Let's dive in. Let's take some action on this. Hope you got something good today.
Yep, and this is our, my recruiting collective, program that we have, where we have a weekly call with Jessica and I, a weekly, monthly training like this, a monthly, personalized gift that you send out. It's really a recruiting marketing piece that we personalize for you that you can push out to all of your recruits, as well as a social media post for recruiting as well. You get all of that for $199 a month for in our recruiting collective membership community.
So I'd love to have you guys. See you guys later. Have an awesome day.
Thanks for
Thank you
being
so
here.
much.
Bye,
Bye.
guys.
I really